our last episode, we sailed from Vigo, Spain to Lisbon, Portugal, then sat in port for 3 weeks while we caught up on work for our clients. In this episode, we sail from Lisbon to Rabat, Morocco. I take a short trip to Alabama and surprise my family for Thanksgiving, and we get Seefalke ready to head to the Canary Islands for our Atlantic crossing. But first, we have to ask the question, why would anyone want to sail to Morocco? When we were planning our route from Germany to Alabama, the one place that I was the most excited about sailing to was Morocco. As we met other sailors and talked to other sailors along the way in France and Spain and Portugal who were also headed to the Canary Islands for an Atlantic crossing, I was so surprised that none of them were going to Morocco. And some of them said that they just didn't think that Morocco was a safe place to visit, or they thought it was dirty, or there was nothing to see, just didn't understand how to fit in with the culture. But none of those things stopped us from coming. I'd wanted to come to Africa since I was a little girl, and I especially wanted to see Casablanca. And both these things, Africa and Casablanca, were very high on my all-time bucket list. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. We were definitely sailing to Morocco. As we left the marina, it was chilly and Seefalke's orange hull was hidden behind a curtain of fog. We couldn't see a thing. We forged our way out of the port and blasted the foghorn signals as we cruised our way slowly and blindly along the Teo River.
You would say it's a bad idea to depart during a fog like this, but we had the choice: either we take the fog or we wait another 12 hours for the next high tide. So I think we took the fog, and it's about to clear up within the next couple of hours.
This guy, for example, doesn't have AAS. That guy also.
We ventured to a nearby port to fill the fuel tanks, then set out for Morocco. We were thrilled to see the USS Harry S. Truman, which is an enormous United States aircraft carrier, and its home port is the Naval Station Norfolk, Virginia. We couldn't believe we were seeing it in Lisbon, Portugal, of all places. The carrier dropped anchor in Portugal after a month of operations in the North Atlantic and became the first U.S. carrier to operate in the Arctic Circle in 27 years. We left Lisbon about 5 hours ago, and we're on our way to Africa, and we'll be there in about 85 hours or so, sometime on Thursday. And I'm so excited. I've never been to Africa, so I can't wait to get there. Right now, we don't have a lot of wind, so we're just motor sailing. And hopefully it'll pick up a little bit. We can get a little bit of speed. After 3 weeks in port, we both struggled to find our sea legs.
So we're still out here, perfect conditions. We have about 15 degrees. You can see almost clear skies. We have northerly winds with a 4 to 5. But we've taken turns in feeding the fish. It's just the waves are coming in a very uncomfortable angle, rocking the boat pretty much. But hey, we had a good time. That's the most important. At a straight downwind course, you can see we only have the mainsail on. As soon as we get to our next waypoint, we shift the mainsail forward and also unreel the generator. Go breakfast? Come on. Water too shaky to make coffee. Stay. So just hoisted the list. That's my hand. little chair. Oh, the freighter over there, pretty close. Go through the entrance, and this traffic is great. So we're keeping clear of it. But he probably wants to take the outer lane. So we're leaving. So we got all sails up now, past our waypoint, and set course 145 degrees straight to Rabat. The speed now is like around 5.5, 6 knots, so we should arrive there in time. The wind is not this way.
Not so easy to cook when you're underway, but it can be done.
Yum, 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 yum.
Making a little pasta and veggies. Balancing act. It's Tuesday evening, and I'm feeling a lot better than I did last night. The water's calmed a good bit. I spent most of last night and this morning seasick, but I feel a lot better now. We were able to get some good food, a good full tummy with a warm meal, and of course the conditions have smoothed out a little bit. So night 2 is much more enjoyable so far than night 1.
Yeah, sometimes, not very often actually, especially at night, doing night shifts. Think of those old sailors, without GPS, without proper charts. We don't know exactly. It's 105 nautical miles to Rabat, and the speed of 5 knots will take us another 20 hours to be there. Those guys didn't know that. Those guys didn't know it was still a week, a day, a month, a year to the destination, and they still did it, and they still, probably thought it's worth it when they got there.
After a night like last night, I was so sick and so miserable, and I was wondering, why do we do this? And this morning I was getting thrown all over the cabin, just trying to go to the bathroom, and I was cussing and screaming and fussing and complaining because you can't even walk to the bathroom without getting your body thrown across the room. And but then we're sitting out here talking, and it's moments like this where you look out into the deep blue sea, and it's so gorgeous and it's so huge, and you start thinking about, I was just thinking about how there's so many sailboats in every marina that we moor in, and yet you never see any of them out here. And I mean, we are all alone in this world right now. There is nothing in our 360 degree view. We are all alone, but yet we know there are hundreds and maybe thousands of sailboats out here. It just shows you how big this world is and how small we are. And that's a pretty eerie feeling, and it's a pretty cool feeling all at the same time. But this is why we do it. It's times like this.
Yeah, and especially during rough conditions, if I need to go on the deck, on the foredeck to adjust the sail and fix something, I sometimes really feel like an astronaut in space, you know, taking a walk in space, because the environment here, like the ocean, is a very hostile environment to people, like the space. And without this construction from steel, we'd be dead within a few hours. We always have to remember this. We live thanks to this construction of steel that keeps us alive.
So long, Europe! Hello, Africa! Pretty cool!
I want to say hello to Morocco.
And hello to Morocco!
So, we're water sailing. The wind is almost gone, and we need to make it to the entrance of the river in Rabat by about 8 o'clock in the morning. So, using the diesel sail, I think.
Smell land, Scout?
Over.
This is sailing with the Seefalke.
Stand by and wait for pilot. The pilot is coming. 5 minutes, the pilot is coming. Over.
Thank you very much. The pilot is coming. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Over.
Yeah, so here we are, waiting at the entrance of the BOUREGREG River. We're waiting for the pilot to pick us up, guide us to the BOUREGREG Marina, which is the marina of Rabat, Morocco. One of the very, very few marinas in Morocco. So they're not really used yet to yachting and cruising sailors. But here we are.
I can't believe we're here. We're in Africa, and it seems crazy, but it was a good passage. It was tough at times. We had about a 24-hour period where, again, I battled the seasickness, but otherwise, it was a really enjoyable passage, and we're here. After 369 nautical miles and about 75 hours, we had made it into Morocco. And now it was time for us to learn why so many sailors skipped this stop on their way from Portugal to the Canary Islands. As the harbor master guided us into the marina, we immediately began to feel warm and welcomed. It took us about an hour and a half to clear through customs, but we were greeted by a beautiful Moroccan woman who served us delicious mint tea while we filled out all the required paperwork. We had to give them our drone cameras for safekeeping during our stay, since flying drones is not allowed in Morocco. Our first impressions were positive. It was very easy to come through customs with the dogs. We had all the proper paperwork. We had their health certificate. We had their up-to-date rabies shot. They are microchipped. They had everything that was required. Customs officers were especially impressed that we had the European pet passport. Even though we're not in Europe anymore, they thought that was a valid document. And so we ventured into Rabat, took a day trip to Casablanca where I got to visit Rick's Café. And we also spent a day in Tangier. I took a quick trip to Alabama to spend Thanksgiving with my family. And then returned to explore Morocco much more in depth with Mike and the Seadogs. But would we recommend a trip along this route less traveled by sailors? Find out in our next episode. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please read our online logbooks for the real nitty-gritty of all our adventures and check out our perks for patrons. All the links are in the description below.